Welcome to Get Rich, the podcast that helps you do just that. Get rich and stay rich. Hey, I'm Molly Benjamin. I'm the founder of Ladies Finance Club, one of Australia's largest financial education platforms for women. But before I started helping thousands of women take control with their money, I was a hot financial mess when it came to my own finances. And not the fun kind of hot, more like crying in a supermarket wondering where all my money went kind of hot. But here's the thing, if I can go from financial mess to owning a share portfolio, investing in property and building wealth, then you can too. My mission is simple, to make women rich. Because when we have financial freedom, we have choices, confidence, and control over our future. Every week on Get Rich, I sit down with some of the best experts in the industry to break down how we can all start investing, growing our money, and creating long-term financial security without the jargon, boring bits, or overwhelm. Because when women get rich, we don't just change our lives, we change the world. So if you're ready to start making some smart money moves, hit that subscribe button and let's get rich together. In today's episode, I'm joined by Lottie Dalziel, sustainability expert, founder of Banish, and author of the brand new book, 365 Ways to Save the Planet and Your Money at the Same Time. So we're going to be diving into the practical, easy-to-do swaps that can save you serious cash, from reducing food waste and embracing slow fashion to cutting your power bills and cleaning your home without harsh and expensive chemicals. So whether you're just sustainability curious or already living a low-waste life, this episode is full of smart tips that are good for the planet and your bank account. And hey, if you're loving these episodes, the best way to thank us is by hitting that subscribe button. Hi, Lottie. Welcome to Get Rich.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, this is great because you have just written a book, 365 Ways to Save the Planet and Your Money at the Same Time. And look, we are all about saving money and saving the planet at the same time. So very excited to have you on for a chat about this. And also massive congratulations, because I know like books, they can be a bit of a slog. So well done.
No, thank you so much. I'm really excited to kind of break down a couple of the tips and chat to you about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just thought, like, I did your intro before, but just to hear it from you yourself, could you just tell me a little bit about Lottie and your company Banish and how it all came to be?
Yeah, so Banish is an education platform that helps teach people how to live more sustainably. I started it 7 years ago as a way because I was trying to live sustainably. I was trying to reduce my waste as much as possible, and I was finding it really confusing, really difficult, and really overwhelming. I thought, well, I can't be the only one feeling like this. And inevitably, if we need people to make a change and to live more sustainably, it needs to be so easy that there's no reason not to. So I was working as a journalist at the time in health and fitness, and I thought we kind of can apply the same principles. So I started doing a little bit of work on it on the side, and things just really took off. I was disseminating all of these really juicy and hard to understand research and studies and giving people practical tips on how they could live more sustainably. And it was really resonating with people, and it's just kind of grown from there.
Yeah, because even like this morning, I was going to the fridge, I was throwing out food, just everything comes in plastic. And I'm just like, this feels so unsustainable. So I was just wondering, like, maybe if we jump straight into like food and food waste, like I know Aussies like waste a lot of money on food every year, but what are some like easy ways that we can save in that area?
Yeah, it's a really good point, because it's estimated that the average Australian household throws away between $2,000 to $3,000 worth of food every year. So it's pretty much like when you go to the shops and you have 5 bags, one of those 5 bags is just going straight into the bin. So not only is it a huge waste of money, but it's also really terrible for the planet, because when all of this food goes to landfill, it creates a toxic methane gas. So we need to stop throwing things out. Also for our pockets perspective, we just need to eat everything that we've already got. So I think the best thing that you can probably do when it comes to food waste is to shop smarter. Yep. I think we've got so much in our fridge, in our pantry, in our freezer that we don't even realize. Yep. So my thing is always going to the shops with a plan. I'm never just browsing and just popping things into my cart just because. I'm always going there going, I know what I'm going to be cooking. This is what the recipe calls for. And I'm not being upsold. So if a recipe asks for 200 grams of carrots, I'm just going to buy 200 grams of carrots. I'm not going to buy a 1 kilo bag because it might seem cheaper to buy in bulk. But often when you buy those big bags, they come in plastic packaging as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about markets? Are markets good if you've got a market close by? Is that a better alternative than I know that's not possible for everyone, but is that a better alternative?
It really depends on the type of market that it is, because sometimes we can see with markets is they kind of lean on convenience and they might not actually be as cost efficient as you would find your fresh fruit and vegetable shop would be. But I think for me, the biggest thing is I'm always shopping seasonally. It's a really great way to not only nourish your body because that's what your body needs at that time, but by shopping the specials, you're inevitably shopping what's seasonal, and that's going to mean that it's going to be fresher, it's going to be better for you, and hopefully it won't have traveled as far as well to get to you.
Yeah. And with I just find if I go to Coles or Woolworths, Aldi, everything is in plastic these days. It is so hard to buy things not in plastic. I've found my local Scoop at the moment, which I'm obsessed with. But is there a plastic that's better than other plastics if we kind of in this point that it's hard to avoid it sometimes?
Yes, I think the biggest thing is acknowledging that we're actually not going to be plastic free, but we can use less plastic than we're currently doing. When I'm going to my local grocer or my supermarket, I'm always taking my own reusable produce bags. Yeah. So everybody has a bag that they use when it comes to the checkout, but when you're in the fruit and veg section, there's often reusable bags that you can use there. So I'm buying my spinach loose. I'm buying loose carrots over things wrapped in plastic. Yes, there are going to be some things like berry punnets that I'm going to obviously consume, but at least they're one that can be actually recycled. So trying to avoid those soft and squishy plastics wherever possible.
Awesome. And this is such a good kind of 101 on recycling because not all plastics can be recycled. Some can't. So you say the soft plastic. So is that what our bread comes in? They're the ones that can't be recycled?
Exactly. So the ones that can go into your curbside recycling bin at home, generally speaking, are your stiffer plastics. Okay. So what you like to do is if you can do a scrunch test, and if the item pops back to its original shape, then generally speaking, it can go into your curbside recycling bin. Whereas if you scrunch it and it holds its shape, that's when you go, okay, this is a soft and squishy plastic that I can't curbside recycle.
Okay, that's really good to know. And I guess moving on now to around just fashion, because we love our fashion here at Ladies Finance Club. But we had a lady on the podcast last week, Emma Edwards. She's now doing a year without buying anything new. I guess what are some good hacks around sustainable fashion, but on a budget?
Yeah, it's a really great question, and it's estimated that we only actually wear 1/3 of our wardrobe. So my biggest thing is when you're going to go shop something new is actually to shop the rest of your wardrobe first. Yeah. Pull out of those items that you haven't worn recently and give them some extra love, style them differently so that then you can wear something that would be quite, dressy, wear it down, vice versa. My other piece of advice as well is rent when you can. So this means that you can kind of have those luxury items for a portion of the price, because if you are going to a fancy event, it's really much more affordable for us to rent those different items. And I also love borrowing from girlfriends. I don't know, when I was in my teens, I was borrowing absolutely everything from my girlfriends all the time. And then for some reason, we fell out of this routine, and I've only started bringing it back in the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah. And it's so much fun because we have such better taste now than we did in our teens.
Yes, no, I love that. I did a roadshow around Australia last year, and I rented every single time I presented because I was like, number one, I'm not going to pay $600 for a dress. I refuse to. But also I got variety. I tried different things. So I got to see the different colors I wouldn't normally wear. And it was so great. And then at the end of the day, I didn't have clutter in my wardrobe and I didn't have the huge expense that it would have cost me to buy these dresses, which was just, yeah.
Exactly. And you probably wore all of those dresses for the roadshow, but you're not going to wear them in your everyday life. So it's one of these things, it's just a waste.
Yeah, absolutely. They were statement pieces. And I was like, as far as naming and shaming, are there any companies out there in the fashion world that we should just be like avoiding? Because I see so much, excuse my language, shite from like the Sheins. And I'm just like, you're selling this for like $8. How is that sustainable? Like, how is someone getting a good deal, whoever's making that? Like, when it comes to these fast fashion brands, are they the devil reincarnated? Are they really cat?
Well, look, as you just said, if there's an item that you can buy for $8, it's not going to have been made well, and it's not also going to be paying the people who made that garment well. So I think the biggest thing when it comes to making purchases and looking at fast fashion is it's really something that we should try and avoid wherever possible.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of arguments with cost of living at the moment for kind of purchasing items that are really cheap. But if you think about buying a t-shirt that costs $3 from a big retailer, think about how many different hands have had to touch that garment in order for it to be made, and how little each of those people will have actually been paid. But also, if you're buying an item that is only a couple of dollars, it's obviously not going to last you a very long time. So if you're really trying to reframe your spending by cost per wear rather than by purchase, that's something that I really like to do. So it means that I can invest in pieces that would be a little bit more expensive to kind of go, okay, if I'm buying a t-shirt that's going to cost $50, $80, but I know that I'm going to wear this t-shirt upwards of 30 times for the next couple of years, then my cost per purchase is going to come down to that $3 mark, rather than buying something really cheap that's not going to last, that's going to tear or rip or won't even sit well because it's made so cheaply. So I think that's my biggest thing for people, is just think about, but the questions that I recommend people ask are, who made this?
Yeah.
What is it made from? Where is it going to ultimately end up? And how long am I going to be able to wear this for? And it's just thinking about those questions before you make a purchase.
Yeah. And I know even when I was like in starting out in this world, and I was earning my first paycheck, and I was just spending so much on crappy clothes that are going to end up in landfill. And then, it took me a few years to be like, oh, I want to be buying quality over quantity. Just because it's on sale doesn't mean I need to buy it. And it was actually it was a bit of a mindset shift, which sounds a bit crazy, but sometimes we're in such a scarcity mindset of always going for the cheapest thing, looking for, the most frugal way here and there. But sometimes actually in the long run, we need to just ask those questions. So I love that. That's great. Okay. So we've gone food, fashion. If we just think about the home, what are some just easy, low cost hacks that can help us live more sustainably in the home?
Yeah, I think a really big one that I've spoken about quite a bit in the book is cleaning, because when it comes to cleaning your home, it's so easy to be caught up in all of the marketing and needing a glass cleaner, a kitchen cleaner, a bathroom cleaner, a toilet cleaner, all of these different cleaners that pretty much are doing the exact same thing. So what I recommend is I only have 4 ingredients or 4 items in my cleaning cupboard, and they're all super affordable. So they are white vinegar, bicarb soda, lemons. Probably don't keep those in the cupboard, and also castile soap. And the reason why I have these is because using them either on their own or in combination, they're able to clean absolutely everything. You're not using it at masses of chemicals, but you're also able to do it relatively cheaply as well. Because if you think about it, you're wiping down your bench with like an all-purpose spray that's filled with chemicals. Ultimately, you're going to be consuming whatever's on that bench because you're chopping on it, you're eating off it pretty much. So if we just kind of think about that, then it's going, oh, I don't really want to be eating whatever chemical concoction is in there.
Oh, I love that. And I actually soaked all my coffee cups in bicarb the other day. I saw this thing on TikTok and cleaned them this morning, and they all came out literally brand new. I was like, love that.
Exactly. And it's like all of these things you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that this could do so much.
Yes, I know. And I was like, well, just as you said, like, I have no idea what chemicals are in the items you buy in the supermarket, but I don't like the way they make me cough. I'm like, I don't think they can be good for me. So I love that that's just the 4 items you need. And some of these like supermarket sprays are so expensive as well.
Exactly. And if you look at the back of the pack to like see the ingredients that's on there, one, you probably can't pronounce half of the ingredients on there.
Yeah.
But normally the number one ingredient on there is water. So we're inadvertently paying so much money for like an item that is made with like 80% water, and it's going, well, it's cost a bucket load to get it here. The freight would have been more increased carbon emissions. It's all of this stuff.
Yeah. No, I love this. And I guess kind of wrapping up, like, in your world, what do you think are, I know we've talked about a few, but what do you think are the most impactful kind of sustainable swaps people can make, and start with today?
It's really hard because everybody's life is different. Everyone's lifestyle is different. I think definitely eating what you've already got in your fridge is one of the most impactful things that you can do from a planetary and a monetary perspective as well. A couple of other things could be looking at who you bank with. This is one that I don't think many people do, but just checking in to see who your super is with, who they're investing in. The same with your bank as well. Where is your money ultimately going, and to what kind of organizations is it supporting? Another one could be as simple as just actually turning off your chargers when you're not using them. This is something called phantom power, when we leave something plugged in and it is just sitting there trickling away and drawing all of this power when it's not actually doing anything. So it's another really simple one. Just switch it off at the wall when you're not using it. Don't use standby mode on your computer. Just shut it down.
Love it. And there's been so many good tips given in like this 15 minutes. So thank you so much, Lottie. And if people want even more, they can obviously buy your book. Where can they get your book from?
Yeah, so you can grab the book from any good bookstore. That could be Dimmix, it could be Booktopia, Amazon, Big W, and a lot of independents as well.
And if people want to learn more about what you're doing, how can they find you?
Yep, so we've got the Banish website, which is just banish.com.au, or they can follow us on socials at banish.au for Instagram, and my full name spelled out properly on TikTok.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll pop those links in the show notes. Thank you so much, Lottie, and thank you so much for what you're doing for the world as well. It's so brilliant.
Thanks for having me, Molly.